I'm not a complete sociopath. So like when the timer was counting down before we knew that they had died instantly, I was hoping that they died instantly.
Pause. I'm Desanya Wet, artist, singist, gamist, and most evilest bimbo. And on this channel, I do something a little different. I draw and talk and play my most favorite video game, Minecraft, all at the same time. And if you really like what you see, make sure to hit that like and subscribe and press all those good buttons that'll make me happy. Thank you.
Hello everyone. You know what time it is. It's time for Minecraft. It's time for Minecraft. It's time for Chicken Madness Minecraft. Okay, so let's do the Chicken Madness Minecraft. So I need to tell you guys something. I'm not a very social person. I only speak when I'm spoken to. I don't say anything unless it's like a life or death situation that I say it, right? So for these videos, I a little bit pre-game, right? So that I talk. So that I have anything to say. I'm not naturally this loquacious, as it were. I don't naturally talk this much for fun. I usually am quiet. A lot of people in my life that know me IRL think I'm a really smart person because I rarely speak. And when I do speak, it's always something extremely profound or hilarious. And they think that I plan that, but it's actually completely unplanned, unscripted. I just don't talk unless I feel like it's worth saying, right? So for these videos, since I have to talk to myself for hours at a time, I thought to, grease the wheels a little bit, that having a little bit of an adult beverage before each episode. So before each episode, I have an adult beverage because I figured it would get stuff moving and grooving, and I would, have something to talk about because I have to talk to myself for hours at a time sometimes to film these episodes. Well, today was a very wonderful day. I had a lot of fun today, and my chronic illnesses, TM, have not been so bad today as they typically are. Which means I was able to do a lot more stuff, which was very exciting for me. I love when I get to do more stuff. But anyway, because I'm so hard in the paint with, the living experience that I don't normally get to do, I also maybe overdid a little bit the drinking experience also of the adult beverages. So if I sound a little different than usual, I'm okay. I'm safe, I'm sane, I'm consensual. I'm just having a little bit more gooder of a time than usual. So now that that's out of the way, I just thought I already have access. I just thought I would let you guys know I'm chilling, right? So let's get this Chicken Madness going. And if it's not good, you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Frankly, I'm not in the kind of mood where I super can't even aim. Not in the mood where I super care or not, I know I said in a previous episode that if it sounded different, it meant I had to go back and dub in stuff. I didn't actually ever have to go back and dub in anything. But for this one, maybe that could potentially be a thing we need to do. And I haven't filmed in like 2 weeks, so it's not like I'm doing this every night. I'm doing it every once in a while. Trust me, I would know. I don't really like drinking, so it's always a special occasion when I do. As part of my diagnostic process, I went to an oncologist because they thought I had cancer because of how my numbers were. I don't have cancer. I mean, okay, it's a long story, but I don't have cancer. Anyway, so when I was first seeing my oncologist, she's like, "Do you drink?" And I said, "I don't really drink. I have maybe a glass of wine every week or two on a Saturday to chill." And she said to my face, she said, "I don't believe you. I think these numbers are indicative of you being an alcoholic, and I'm gonna run a test that will tell me if you're an alcoholic. And if you're lying to me, I'm gonna know." And I said, "Okay, run the test. Like, I have a glass of wine maybe once a week max because I don't like drinking." And so she runs the test, and it comes back negative for alcoholism. I don't know what test it was. This was like a year ago. It comes back negative for whatever she was looking for that would indicate I'm an alcoholic. And she says, "Well, I still don't believe you. So I'm gonna send you to get your liver checked. We're gonna do an ultrasound of your liver because if you were an alcoholic, your liver would definitely be damaged." And I said, "Okay, let's do it. Like, maybe my liver is the problem. Who knows?" And so I go and get my liver ultrasounded, and my liver is like one of the healthier livers she's ever seen. And she goes, "Okay, I believe you now that you're an alcoholic, but I don't know what's wrong with you, so we're gonna send you to a rheumatologist." And I said, "Okay, thanks. I know that people lie all the time about their alcohol consumption because my ex lied about it, and he still to this day has an issue. Not that I'm keeping tabs or anything, but it's just funny to me to see him still struggle with alcoholism after the way he acted with me. But I was like, I for sure know what my alcohol intake is, and I know that you can't take me at my word because of the way that other people are, that they lie all the time. But for me, like specifically, I swear to you, I promise, if I was having the symptoms that I'm having and I thought it could potentially be because of alcohol, I would have already stopped drinking. But I don't drink enough for that to be the problem. Anyway, that's me ranting about how doctors don't believe women in 2024. Oh my god, am I hungry? I should probably eat. Maybe I start to eat some of these chickens. Maybe that's what we do this episode, is get the chicken farm going so I can start eating these guys. But first I need a cobblestone chicken. And I think the next chicken is gonna be the cobblestone chicken from the gravel chicken. And I have the 2 gravel chickens, and look, he just laid a gravel right now, just then, as I said that.
Hello.
So that's perfect. I need every chicken to get away from me. So, okay. So I think that might be the move this episode. I think that might be the vibe. I think the vibe is, here's the list. Always number 1 is gonna be get the next evolution of chicken. And then number 2 for this episode, we're gonna start the chicken separation situation. We're gonna separate the chickens out, and then we're gonna get the chicken farms going. So I'm gonna do a build. All right, here we go. Again, I should be building with bottom slabs every time. Restart the montage. Restart the montage. I should have been building with bottom slabs. I'm hearing eggs being laid like gangbusters right now. Maybe it's not eggs, maybe it's blocks, but I'm hearing stuff being laid like crazy. Oh god, I'm too drunk to drive this character. I can't drive. I honestly don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of building, and then we'll figure out what to do with the space afterwards, honestly. Where'd the sun go? Where's the sun? What happened? What's happening? Is it supposed to be raining? I don't understand. There's no sun, there's no moon. It just got kind of like weirdly dark. Is it supposed to be raining? But there's no weather happening. That's weird. I'm not gonna think too hard about it. Am I having a stroke? The colors just keep changing of the world. Oh, it's the sunset. That makes sense. Okay, well, I'm out of wood. I'm gonna get more slab, and I need to get a gate, a fence gate as well. Expediently. I also want fences. Wait, what? Oh, that's a cobblestone chicken. I already have the cobblestone chicken. I already have the cobblestone chicken. I need another one. Watch this. I can already finish one of the things of the episode. So now we have cobblestone. Oh, this is great. This is great. No. Yes. Stupid. Okay, but now that I have cobblestone, I can make a furnace, which means I can make charcoal, and I can get torches. That's big. That's huge. And another thing too, I know you guys don't know about this. Maybe I told you, maybe you do know and I just forgot. But I can make nests, and the chickens will get stuck to the nest and lay the eggs only into the nest and the objects. And I can set up like a factory type situation with the chickens funneling. I need iron to create I need iron to create the hoppers for which to do the chicken nests in tandem with, and unto for. I hate planning. I hate thinking ahead. I just like to do stuff and just not worry. Oh my god, but I need to think about it, how much up I need to build, because if I do, I could just build like 8 blocks up. That's probably super overkill, but I can't do math right now. I'm just a girl. If that's not enough space, then who would have even known? Who could have even known that? I'm not gonna sit down and write it down on a piece of paper. I'm not gonna sit here and do that. I'm not a nerd like the rest of you guys. So the plan is gonna be, I'm gonna build up. So first, let's just say here is the beginning of the stairs. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think actually 6 is sufficient. I think 6 is more than enough. And all the chickens will follow me because I will have seeds. Therefore, doesn't super matter what else is happening in the world around it. But I do want to put railings for my personal safety. And then we're gonna build platforms up here. So let me just do that really quick. Getting stone tools will be such a boon for my chicken economy. But the next thing I need to figure out is how to actually make a nest, because I don't actually know how to make a nest. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. I'm gonna have to figure that one out live, because I don't know that one yet. I'm not gonna fill these all the way in. Maybe I should. I don't know. I don't know what I should do, because hypothetically I would be putting hoppers anyway. But I'm gonna move the chickens up here anyway. I'm just gonna move them up here. I could put hoppers already, but I don't have hoppers because I don't have iron. I don't really know what to do, guys. I'm completely lost. Comment if you know what I should do, because I don't know. I have no clue. I do know, okay, maybe before I even get any further than this on this, I should figure it out. Okay, so let's see if we can figure it out. I want a chest. There might be a chest involved. How do I make a chest? Why do I not have the recipe for a chest? I do have the recipe for a chest. It's right there. So, I have enough wheat. Do I need a hopper? It's probably gonna require a hopper. Hold on. Let me look at my notes, because I actually am curious now. And also I have to pee. I left my phone in the bathroom. No. Okay, everybody. I'm back. I didn't find out the answer, but I'm gonna guess that it needs a hopper. That's my educated guess. My educated guess is that the recipe is as follows. My educated guess is that this, and then there's a hopper here. That's my guess of what the recipe is. I should have tested it. But I didn't, so here we are. Okay, so what that means is I can put a hold on this project and go back to making fences. Maybe we make fences and prioritize getting a furnace. Yes. I could still move the chickens over here though. That might still be the move, to move them at least into this pen and not have them in the central pen, such that they're out of the way. That might be the vibe. And if they go up there, maybe I don't want them to go up there. Maybe I take these stairs down for now so they can't go up. It'll be chicken off limits to the chickens. It'll be off limits to the chickens to go up there. That's good. They can't escape from. So maybe that's what I do. Maybe the chickens all come over here. Yeah. Yeah. Now they're free range. Now I have to cover a lot more of an area, actually. Maybe I want them still here. Maybe I do actually want them still in here, because then I don't have to walk around an entire map to collect all of their droppings. Okay. Eventually I'll figure out what I'm doing, because I don't even know what the goal of this episode is yet. I guess my goal initially was to build the automated chicken farm, but obviously it's not time for that yet. So what am I doing? What am I doing? Obviously, the first goal of the episode is, as usual, to get the next evolution of chicken, which means I need 2 cobblestone chicken. But past that, I don't know. Maybe the goal should be to figure out how to build a nest, but the problem is I won't know how to build a nest until I get an iron chicken, and I have no clue when that's gonna be. That's not for anytime soon, for sure. I think maybe for this episode, because there's not a lot else to do, we just make the goal just the regular goal. We just, for this episode, make the goal the regular goal and see what the next chicken is gonna be. And I already expanded the platform. Maybe that was the goal all along, was expanding the platform. Why don't we throw all the eggs? Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens if we throw all of the eggs. This might be a good thing. This might be a good thing if I throw all of the eggs. Let's see. Let's just try it. Because if I do this, then ultimately I'm just gonna have a ton of adult chickens that are gonna lay resources. And then I can corral them later whenever I figure out what the recipe for the nest is gonna be. I don't think it's a bad idea. And they won't start entity cramming until like 27 chickens on a block, right? And I don't think I'm ever gonna have that many chickens on a block. So I don't super think I have to worry about it. And having a bunch of bone meal chickens is actually gonna be a little bit good with sauce. I think it's a good idea. So that's actually the goal of this episode. It wasn't to expand the platform, like I said. It was to actually break all of the eggs. Look at all the resources I'm already getting. Right, okay, whatever the other goal of the episode was, whatever, who cares? I'm just gonna get the next chicken, and then we'll figure out the rest in the future, because I'm not good at planning the thing. Ugh, every chicken move! There's a lot of chicken. Hi, Pee-Pee. You come to investigate what's going on in here? You come to investigate? Pee-Pee came to sit next to me. Ooh, I'm so excited. Pee-Pee is my eldest cat daughter. and she's very ornery. She's not the most, I mean, she's friendly, but she's like aloof. She likes to be alone, just like her mother. And so when she comes to sit next to me in the same room at the same time, it's like being one of God's chosen people, because it's not something she does normally, is sit next to anyone. I mean, she sits next to her dad all the time because she's a daddy's girl, but she doesn't really like me very much, because when she was a baby and we were playing, I poked her eye accidentally, and then when she was older and she trusted me enough to play with me again, I accidentally poked her eye again, and so now she hates my guts because I accidentally poked her eye twice, which is valid. Honestly, I can't even blame her. I would be mad too. Somebody poked my eyeball twice after I trusted them not to do it again. Though in my defense, both times it was an accident, but I guess if it's an accident, that means it could probably happen again and nobody would know. You guys remember Ocean Gate? Do you guys remember Ocean Gate? Oh my god. If you don't know about Ocean Gate, look it up. You'll lose your mind. Basically, there was this billionaire named Rushton Stock or Stock Rushton or something like that. Some kind of crazy like James Bond villain name. And he had this company that did submarine tours to the Titanic. And you would get on the submarine about the size of a bathtub, and you and 5 guys would pack into this thing, 5 adult men, including Rush, or Stock, or whatever his name was. You and this billionaire would get on this bathtub-sized submarine, sitting cross-legged, no standing room, and there would be a little porthole at the end where you could see out into the ocean. And you would go and look at the Titanic for $250,000 a seat. And so this guy, he would do these tours. It was like a billionaire trip thing. Like, it was like only billionaires and multimillionaires who were doing this stuff. Like, stupid idiots. And then also, this thing, they would pilot it using a PlayStation controller by Mad Cats. It was piloted using a PlayStation controller. I mean, that's all you need to know right there. And so one day they go down there, him and 5 guys, and all of a sudden, home base loses signal to the submarine. Surprise, surprise. They lose the signal to the submarine, and you know, everybody, I mean, come on. We already knew what was going on. Everybody already knew what was happening. They died. The thing exploded, but they didn't want to admit that. So there was this whole like social media thing that happened where like there was like a countdown to how much oxygen they have left. And like, oh, is the Coast Guard gonna find them before they suffocate to death? These guys were a fine marinara sauce long before the Coast Guard was even, the Navy was even called. Because the Navy come out later, and this is related to UFOs actually. The Navy come out later and said, yeah, we have underwater sensors all over the globe actually. I'm sorry this is how you found out. But our sensors detected an implosion around the area that you guys, you know, were doing the tours at, like within seconds of it happening. And we didn't say anything because we didn't, you know, want to out our sensors, because these are the same sensors we're using to monitor the UFOs. Well, they're not UFOs, they're USOs, undersea objects, because the UFOs are transmedium crafts. The UFOs are transmedium crafts. Because if they can go to space, why couldn't they go under the ocean? That's like, going under the ocean is way easier than going into outer space. And it's like the same technology, basically. But anyway, the Navy came out and said, yeah, we have these sensors where we monitor weird happening in the ocean that just so happened to pick up, you know, the implosion of the submarine. And oh, by the way, yeah, we've been monitoring UFOs traveling under the ocean for like a few years now, and that's why we have these sensors, really. I don't know, it's silly. It's silly. And so yeah, the guys were dead. Like, they didn't even know what was happening. But I got a little bit up. Like, I have empathy. Obviously, these guys were human. I'm not a complete sociopath. So like when the timer was counting down before we knew that they had died instantly, I was hoping that they died instantly. I was praying to God that they died instantly. It was an implosion and they were turned into marinara sauce. That was the best way to do it. But I have empathy, and when that timer was counting down, yeah, it was hilarious. But at the same time, there was a part of me that was like, oh my God, what if I was one of the people, like I would never be, obviously, but I was like, oh my God, what if I had been there? What if I was one of the people who was in there in this bathtub with 5 guys and coughing and sneezing and blowing snot? Like, I would have a panic attack in that situation. Obviously, like that's the bare minimum human response to being in that situation. And I a little bit kept me up at night. Like, it was really funny. It's not funny. I shouldn't say that. It was funny though. It was a little funny because they were the victims of their own hubris at the end of the day. And that's a lot of things that people today have trouble with. That's the thing that a lot of people have trouble with, is the understanding that two things can be true at the same time. The OceanGate submersible implosion can be an awful tragedy and be super sad and scary and also be hilarious at the same time. Not everything is just black and white. There are shades of gray. And believing that shades of gray are possible and not everyone is just either all wrong or all right is what sets the intelligent people apart from the not intelligent people. And that's why there's a crisis in the world right now of unintelligent people who think that they have moral superiority because they think that they are the only correct one on Earth, when in fact they are not. Like, for example, and maybe this is gonna be too political, but being harms because, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I shouldn't have so much to drink. Alright, do I have enough chickens to get the next evolution of chicken? I have enough chickens. Look, I have that guy, and I have this guy. Look at that. And then we got the next chicken. Oh shit! Oh shit! I know what this is. This is the ice chicken. This is the ice block chicken. He's gonna drop an ice block, and then when I break it, it's gonna make liquid running water. Okay, so we have the ice block chicken now, and then we can have liquid running water, and then we can have... Alright, I'm gonna end this episode here. Like and subscribe. Comment if you want to see the unabridged episodes on my Patreon for $3 a month. That's less than the half of the cost of a very special fancy coffee. And then I'll see you in the next episode next week, every Friday! Every Friday, it happens every Friday, so subscribe and then turn on the bell, or just check my channel every Friday. At some point on Friday, it always comes out. Alright, bye.